Hello everybody, Fed No More here again. Well, I figured I'd make a video here on a kind of an interesting issue with these Chrysler outboard motors, or pretty much any outboard motor in general. This one here has an ignition misfire, and that's what this video is going to address. I have a test wheel on this motor, which allows me to run it up to power in this small barrel of water. So what I will do is I'm going to show you how it runs, and I'm going to show you basically kind of a couple steps on how to diagnose and repair this issue. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and start this back up again real quick. It's an electric start motor, so everything here. And you'll have to go by the audio, you can hear it misfire. It's only running on one there, and it's got two coming in intermittent. First thing I like to do sometimes is just take the temperature of the start plug. From there is at about 100 degrees. Then I'm going to take the temp on the other one. You see that one's burning a little hotter, so it's the top cylinder that seems to have a misfire in it. You can hear it coming and going. And a lot of times they'll idle fine, but they will have that misfire at a high speed. So I hope you can hear that in the video. But so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to have to go ahead and pull the starter and everything off of it, and get that flywheel off, and check those condensers. So anyway, we'll start there. Okay, so my theory is correct. The spark plug on my left is the one from the bottom cylinder, and you can see that it's dry and been firing. Spark plug on the right is the one from the top cylinder, and you can see that it is wet and not been firing. So that's just kind of a confirmation to check the spark plugs there and see which cylinder is not firing. And it's the top. Kind of occurred to me that people might want to know how to get this starter off. So there's this top cover. Pull the two screws, one on each side. Take that off. Take your crankshaft bolt out, take your mounting screws out, and down here too. Take this bolt out, and then the whole assembly will pull off the top. Disconnect the neutral safety switch, and then the whole unit should just lift right off. And just set it off to the side. You got a spacer, remove that. Then you just remove the flywheel, like I have this demonstrated in other videos. Okay, now this is what you get to look at. My suspicions are the condenser is bad. Pretty certain that that's going to be our issue right there. And I'll clean up the points and everything while I'm in here. Okay, we're doing a test on the condensers now. We got a ground lead going to the mag plate. We got our test lead going to the condenser. I realize that not everybody has one of these vintage Mercotronic ignition magneto testers, but I'm lucky enough to have one, and it helps me out greatly to diagnose what's going on. Anyway, first thing you do is you do a condenser leakage and shortage test, and you can watch the needle, and the needle should just come up a little bit and fall back down. So it doesn't seem to have a leakage test or a short on that one. So now we'll do condenser capacity. Now we're using the bottom scale here, and the specification for these Chrysler condensers in these 4.4 through 20 horsepower models is 0.16 to 0.20 is the capacity or the specification on them. And we'll go ahead and test this one. And you can see that one's coming in at 0.24, so that one is out of range. We'll go ahead and test the other condenser now. I'll go ahead and move the lead over to the other one. And we will go back and do a leakage and short test. And you can see that that one passed that test also. Now we'll do a capacity test. And this one here we're coming in at 0.22. So that one is also out of range, but it's just out of range. So anyway, again, as my suspicions were confirmed, more or less because I've seen this problem so many times, is that we have a bad condenser here. Both condensers aren't very good, so we're going to go ahead and replace those. And clean and adjust the points while we're in here. Anyway, okay, this is the set of points that are out of the top cylinder on that motor. And what happens when you have a bad condenser is that too much voltage goes across the contacts of the points. So, right, that contact there, and then that contact there where my thumb is pointing to. And you can see they're all pitted up and very dirty. So I'm going to clean these up. I do believe they'll be able to be reused. So I'll clean them up. Okay, after cleaning them up, you can see they're pretty clean now. I know the camera isn't the best of focusing at this. But anyway, they got just a small pit on them, which isn't a big deal, but and they'll be okay. But they're nice and cleany and ready to go. Okay, for these condensers, we're still lucky enough they're still being made. So you could go to Mercury Outboard dealer and get a Quicksilver part number F12181-1, and I prefer these condensers, they fit a lot better. Or you could go to a Sierra Marine dealer and get an 18-5241. These condensers work fine, but they don't fit real good, but they work. I do prefer the Mercury ones. Now when you install the new condensers, you want to make sure that when you tighten up the wire that it's going to be out of the way of moving parts. So the flywheel is going to be spinning around here, and you want to make sure that that's out of the way. Just tighten that up. Yeah, you don't want to have to go back in there again because the flywheel rubbed through the wire. Okay, now we're back together again. New condensers, cleaned and adjusted the points. So now we'll just put this back together again. Okay, we got it all back together now, and we're going to give it a little test here in the barrel and see what happens. Remember, I have a test prop on this, a factory Chrysler test wheel, which allows me to put the power on this motor while it's in the test barrel like this, without throwing water all over the place or over revving the engine. So anyway, we'll go ahead and show you what it looks like. So I'll go ahead and put it in gear. So it's heading forward right now. I did just put a new water pump in it. Rebuilt the carburetor, new fuel pump, changed oil in the lower unit, ignition switch. So anyway, we'll show you, the Misfire is gone. So it sounds good. I think now it's ready for a lake test. Anyway, thank you for watching this little series. I hope it was helpful. Bye. One more thing about these auto electric starter generator Chryslers. So this whole unit is a starter and generator. And I figured I'd just test it real quick and make sure that it's working. So what I'm going to do here is I got my multimeter hooked up. And I don't know if you can see that, but it says 12.93 volts. So we'll go ahead and start this up real quick. And we'll put it in gear and put some power to it. So you can see it is working. And it generates about the same amount of, you know, it generates about 14.5 volts, which is good. You know, most automotive generators generate about 14.7. So, anyway, thought that was kind of cool.